You know, I've been around long enough to know that my kids are all having kids. So now they've got the little babies and they're getting earaches and what do you think about ear tubes and all that. Once upon a time that was the thing to do because the ear pressure, the infections and whatever would build up. We would just put a drain in where it could drain to the outside. You got to be real careful of that because if you get water in your ear, then it can go directly into your inner and middle ear. Your throat is connected to the middle ear by the eustachian tube. So a lot of times when we get ear infections, it's because we've got something going on, staph, strep, whatever, sore throat or whatever, and gets back up. Gets in, do what now?
Stationary tube.
Eustachian,
It's not a stationary tube?
eustachian tube. Eustachian. Eustacia was the guy's name. Not stationary.
We gotta know that.
Eustachian.
Eustachian. Is it on there? It is? It's not. Wow. Okay. And we'll kind of talk about it when we go through it and make sure. Does it say tempo, pharyngeal, something or other? That's tympanic membrane. Yeah, maybe not. Okay. We'll fix to cover every bit of that. Okay. You'll see different synonyms. One of my complaints, I try not to have many soapboxes, and I'm trying my best not to have any of them on Facebook ever again. My big post the other day, I teared up. It was about, right out of the gate, about 6 of my high school kids from 15 years ago got on there and made some comments right back real quick. Even my biggest enemy, she's in law school now, down Little Rock. She fights with me all the time on there. She fought with me in 9th grade. She'd say, "I'm not doing that, Holt." I'm like, "Yes, you are, Lindsay." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are. I'm the teacher. You're going to." "No, I'm not." And finally I'd say, "Okay, no, ma'am, you're not." You know, or whatever. She was reasonable about it, of course. But we fight on there. She said, even though we disagree, she said, you know, whatever, you're still. She said, don't quit doing what you're doing. Even though I don't agree with you all the time, don't quit doing it. And she said, you will. She said, you stand for stuff. It's real to you. Okay. I don't own the ear tube thing. I just kind of, in an emergency situation, yes, maybe. If the child is continually, yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I'm cautioned. It's kind of like cutting tonsils out. For a while, we did it like crazy. And then we decided, well, maybe we don't need to cut them all out. No. So anyway, external auditory meatus, remember, was the bone, the passage through the bone, external auditory canal. Then the sound waves will hit the tympanic membrane, the eardrum. On the back side of the eardrum is the mallet that, well, it don't strike the drum strikes it. We're kind of working backwards here. There's the malleus, one of the smallest bones in the body. You have one in each ear, or should have. So the sound waves vibrate the eardrum, and that moves the hammer, the malleus. The malleus bumps up against the incus, or the anvil, as we call it. Then the anvil, get back over here, we're recording, aren't we? The anvil then, I'm not used to doing this, I'm going to get better at this, aren't I? Then the anvil is going to connect, by this little part right here, to the stirrup. If you've ever ridden a horse, looks like it's upside down stirrup, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see the foot part? The pad you put the foot on? Agreed? Mm-hmm. Okay, you'll see it when
What
you
is
see
that
it.
again?
The stapes is the 50-cent term. So the smallest bones in the body are the incus, the malleus, and the stapes, or the malleus, the incus, and the stapes in correct order. Now, one of the things that's on that list, I'm going to set this part aside for a minute. One of the things that's on that list, it says oval window. Okay, you cannot see the oval window on this one. The reason is the bottom of the stirrup of the stapes, and look at that, it's oval. It's over the hole. So the window underneath it is the oval window. So the malleus, the incus, the stapes, then this part is the bladder, or the utricle. Utricle means bladder, is this part right here. And it kind of looks like a bladder. There's some fruit types, when we study botany, we say it's got a bladder type fruit, kind of irregularly container-like shape. And so the sound waves then are going to go from there down into through the oval window. Now, another question says the round window. You pretty much have to have this removed to see the round window. There's a little, like a drain plug in the bottom, And it matches up with a hole in the bone that goes right down through there. So the round window is round. The oval window is oval. Now, the ear does two different things. We used to say auditory nerve. We don't say that anymore. The auditory nerve has been changed to vestibulocochlear nerve. Okay, that's a mouthful. The vestibule part of the ear. What's a vestibule? Okay, all you good church going folks. Where's the vestibule at?
Up in the front.
No? Where's the foyer at?
On the front. The foyer is in.
Yeah, the entryway. It's that big opening there where you come in and you turn your name tag over. The bathrooms are, men's on this side, women's is on this side. That's the way it is. Moses had to put it that way. I don't know. But, you know, there's maybe announcements, a bulletin board, a memorial board or whatever. That's a little different setup down there. You got a big foyer area right there where the sanctuary, and then you go back towards the kitchen and all that. Well, okay, this part of the ear in here, we sometimes call the vestibule area. And then this part of the ear is the cochlea. Cochlea means snail shell. Snail. That's what it looks like to me. So the ear does two things. It doesn't just hear. These semicircular canals that you see are kind of like three levels. You know how to use a level to see if the two before is plumb and straight and all that, level. My bunch fails at that terribly. I give them a level and say, tell me if this is plumb. Plumb means straight up and down, right? I give them a level. They go over there and they don't know what to do with it. It doesn't matter how many times I tell them what to do. You got three levels, almost one in each plane. You have inner ear infection, middle ear infection, excuse me. Dizzy. Got vertigo. You got a bubble off in here somewhere. Where we got, you know, even though there may not be anything wrong with you, something's wrong with one of your levels. So that's what they do. Now, the cochlea part is what you hear with. So remember, we came through the round window, the oval window just a few minutes ago, and then that information is going to be relayed on down to the cochlea. If I look at the cochlea in cross section, I can get this thing back apart. It looks like it's got a bunch of holes in it, and it does. But really, what this is, remember, this is a twisted contortrix of sorts, like a snail shell. Anybody ever made cinnamon rolls? Yeah, you take the dough, right, and you lay it out, and you put the sugar, the brown sugar or the sugar, you put the cinnamon and whatever you want in, throw a few walnuts or something if you want. Anyway, you take this piece of dough and then you roll it up, right? And you cut each one off, and there's cinnamon all the way around. Okay, that's the same thing on the inside of this. The thing that you hear with is called the organ of Corti, named after Corti. And what happens is it is all the way around in here. It's got little membranes and little hair-like things inside there that you hear with. Now, I'm tone deaf. I don't know how many different things now. My ears ring all the time. They tell me, well, nothing we can do about that. So that signal is going to be transferred around in there and then eventually transferred out the auditory nerve. Well, vestibulocochlear nerve. I said it wrong again, old school. And you'll perceive that as whatever sound that was. So you have several parts on the ear, but again, normally people ace every bit. The only way people do not ace this stuff is they forgot to look at it, or they didn't take time, they didn't spend time to look at it. So eye parts and ear parts. Another thing that we have, and I'm going to have to go steal it.